We're just going to roll with this, okay? We're just having coffee, just talking with each other. I make video series about things that interest me with agendas that I think help move me, my company, my processes along, and potentially some of you all along too, in a positive way. And sometimes I point out flaws from companies that I've supported over the years, from companies that I use, from companies that I really do like, admire, and everything else. And sometimes in the comments, people are bored, not interested, which is cool, right? I'm not asking everybody to be interested in everything that I'm talking about. And I know that I take a sharp turn towards business in a lot of what it is that I say, because that's how I make a living, right? Like, I'm not making a living off of views or off of channel subscribers or anything else that YouTube has to offer for creators that are, that have made it, right? That's just not who I am. That's not what my channel is about. Would I like to be a full-time YouTuber making all of my income off of YouTube? Absolutely. But I'm not there, and I'm not even kind of close to there. And I think that what happens sometimes is that people have an expectation of what my content should be, and I don't always deliver on that because this is not your average gear review channel. This is not your average filmmaker channel. I don't only talk about cameras, as much as some people might think that that's all I do. I talk about leveraging the tools in a way that allow me to move the business forward. And I find myself sometimes struggling on whether it is that I should make all of my content available for anyone to watch, or keep doing what it is that I do, because a lot of what I do with YouTube is a way for me to journal my own story, my own life, my own struggles, maybe, or milestones, so that I can maybe reflect on it later and then say, hey, you were onto something, or you were way off base on something else. And I try to do it in a balanced way where, I'm going to use Canon as an example. My channel is Canon Heavy. And it isn't because I wanted to attract photographers that were trying to get into the video business, or professional cinematographers that are using Canon gear and get them to notice me. Like, that wasn't ever the thing. It was that these are the tools that I have been using over the years. These are the tools that allow me to do the things that I do, have the family that I do, live the life that I live. So I think where it's maybe confusing for a lot of people is that I don't just review lenses. I don't just review lights. I don't just review cinema cameras. I talk about the gear that I use as to how it affects the ecosystem that is my company, the ecosystem that is my family, and so on. And I understand that that's not content that is going to be attractive to everyone. And I'm okay with that. When someone has an expectation and I don't meet it, if they're paying me, then it's my job to meet that expectation. But when I share with you all, for example, very specific camera tests, like when I put my C500 Mark II up against my Red 8K Helium, And I basically said to all of you in that video, hey, save yourself the red cache because the C500 Mark II is able to resolve at one stop brighter than the red 8K helium that costs a lot more. I feel like that's valuable, right? And I could have just kept that to myself. And when I'm doing I'm launching a series right now where I'm doing daily videos. And the series, in case you guys care, has 5 episodes. And if you've ever watched a Netflix series, kind of like Narcos, for example, and I'm not comparing my monologue 5-episode series to Narcos, very different type of productions, but there's a level of entertainment to it. There's a whole lot of truth to it. There are legitimate business reasons why it is that I made that specific series. And also, there's an objective. And I'm not going to give it away in episode 1. And I also don't believe that everyone watches every single one of my videos. So think of it this way. When you're watching the news programming, say as you're getting ready for work or something, they have multiple weather sections, right? They're still telling you what the weather is, but they're just repeating it at different intervals so that anyone who tunes in after the show started can still have a sense of what the weather is. So in episode 2, there was one comment that said, hey, I watched 80% of this video yesterday. Some other comment that basically started that thread saying, hell, I'll read it to you because I don't remember verbatim what it says. But basically, he wants me to get back to my normal content, which is the reason for this little video where I'm just, I'm not going to cut anything. I'm going to just upload it. And for anyone that wants to watch it, they can watch it because this is who I am. So let me just find this. Let's see here. Let's refresh comments. I'm sorry, Carlos. This is by Fred Goering. I'm sorry, Carlos. I love your content and I agree with you about Canon colors on different Canon cameras. But you repeat what you said yesterday. I think it could be boring for your audience. I hope you will come back with real news in the next videos. Sorry about that. So while he's agreeing with me, he must have not had an opportunity to read some of the comments yesterday from other Canon users that are also feeling the same way that I'm feeling. And also, just to be clear, like I said, I love Canon cameras, right? But if we can all somehow get a message to Canon that says, these are the 5 things that would help me out, why wouldn't we? Or we could do that with anything, right? It's kind of like going and buying a pair of shoes. If they only sell size 7, but you wear a size 11.5 like I do, and I don't have shoes, I'm going to do what I can to work around the challenges. But if I can get that shoe company to make me a shoe that fits me, or at least begin to think about making a shoe that fits me, why wouldn't I do it? Like, what's the harm in that? That's really what I'm saying here. So, I guess I can't promise that I'm only going to give you camera tests. I can't promise that I'm only going to review specific brands of cameras. I can't promise that I'm not going to jump ship from one camera brand to another because I do that in my daily now. I'm a Red owner. I'm a Canon owner. I'm a Sony owner. So if what people need from me is a single channel approach where my content is just going to stay in one lane, I'm not that type of YouTube channel. And I don't know that I want to be. Because I want to be me. Like, for the most part, I'm an easygoing guy. When I bellyache about something, kind of like the rotten first version of the firmware that they released for the Canon R5, and it got fixed in a week. Like, I didn't see any harm in that. I was very disappointed because we updated the cameras in between a project. And that's not Canon's fault. That's something we should have known better. But it happened, and that did get me all worked up. But generally speaking, I don't get worked up. But I think where I want to end this monologue is that if someone is either offended, bored, not interested in my content, do what I do. When I don't want to see something, I don't click the play button. I skip it. And if I'm ever bored and I want to revisit something, I know where I found it. And if somehow you're offended or it's absolutely not for you, there are multiple ways on YouTube that you could either mute the channel, let YouTube know that you're not interested so that the algorithm doesn't continue to, show you that type of content, or flat out block the channel. Because I don't, excuse me. I don't upload content to my YouTube channel to piss you off. I don't upload content to my YouTube channel to ruin your day or to make you go out of your way to leave a comment telling me how boring or how uninterested you are in whatever it is that I have to say. It's social media. And at the root definition of social media is that you can carve out your interest, your whatever you want to see in your feed. It's a very customized one-to-one customization. So adjust your feed. And I don't mean that in a rude way. Do I want people to subscribe to my channel? Yeah, like I said in the beginning of this whole monologue thing, I would love it if I was a full-time YouTuber. That's just likely never going to happen, but that doesn't mean I don't want people to subscribe. But if I'm making somebody miserable, you should unsubscribe, unfollow, block the channel, let YouTube know you're not interested. I was going to make a super sarcastic video, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I went this route instead. Because I don't want to ruffle feathers more than I'm ruffling them this week with the limited series. Seriously, I hope everybody has a terrific day. And I got to get to work because this was not planned. Take care.